And I want him to tell his story, his background, why he joined ACN, and what his colleagues think about that. So without further ado, Mr. Sean Carlson.
Thanks very much. It's such a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you, sir. So tell us a little bit about your background, and before you got started in ACN, tell us a little bit about what you did and what you do.
Well, I got when I started out, I had to do what everybody always told me you needed to do. I went to college. I spent 12 years in college getting 4 degrees, 2 bachelor's degrees, a master's, and a PhD in nuclear physics. And then I did my postdoc, and I was very involved in the skeptics community and doing all sorts of great social programs to inspire young people to love learning about science and technology and to counter psychics and astrologers and all these sorts of things, just trying to do a lot of general public good. And so, I was pretty successful at that. As a result of my work in science education, I received a very high academic award known as the MacArthur Fellowship. That's the so-called Genius Prize. And if you're in academia, the MacArthur Fellowship is probably second to the Nobel Prize in terms of the amount of prestige and money, frankly, that you get when you get it. So, I was on track to do everything the right way. I was making 6 figures for a number of years. Then I was running a science and technology center in Illinois. I brought in almost $250,000 between that, book contracts, and other things that I was doing. And then the bottom fell out of the economy, and so I had to step away from that position. And I turned to my wife and said, well, darling, we're going to have to live on our savings. And that was when I discovered that she had a very terrible spending issue. And the money that she had told me that we had saved and we had, in fact, was not there. And so we had to declare bankruptcy. That put a lot of stress on the marriage. And then the next thing I knew, she fell in love with this professor who was a very married professor. And the whole thing turned into terrible Greek tragedy. And so I went from, being very well known in my field, very respected, million readers of Scientific American, all these wonderful things, to living in the back of my car in a very short period of time. At 53, I'm sitting around thinking about all the things I've done, all the hard work I've done, doing everything right, and I wind up here in the back of my car at 53. And getting started again is kind of hard. And so when I heard the ACN story, and I went to a presentation, and I thought about it, and it was an absolute no-brainer. I mean, I could do the math. I thought it through. It made perfect sense. They were obvious. There was a lot of social proof. And so I immediately got involved. And the real big thing, that the kicker for me, was to realize that had I gotten involved with ACN before the bottom fell out of my life, I would have had residual income. And I wouldn't have been in the back of my car. I would have been just fine in making that transition. So that was really why I got started in ACN. When I started, I didn't find it sooner. And that's basically how I got to the place where I am today.
Wow. So share with everybody, since you're such a scholar, 12 years of college, 4 different degrees, professorhood, just a genius in my book, the nuclear physicist, I can't say it correctly. And how do your colleagues view you doing ACN once you got involved, as you start talking to them about the opportunity?
Well, as I start talking to them, they act like I've suddenly developed leprosy. They have a lot of preconceived ideas about selling, about providing services to people. The idea is that the lofty world of academia, this is the height of human ambition, the height of human achievement, the greatest things that people can do. And now I've gone and done sort of like joined the devil in his work, and going down and doing grubby sales that are that's a profession that they see as far beneath me. I reached out to one of my friends and colleagues I'd worked with a long time on a lot of great education projects. We did a lot of great stuff together. He did take the call. We did review his services. At the end, he decided that there wasn't anything that we had to offer that he wanted. And then he turned to me and said, Sean, you got a PhD in nuclear physics, guy. Why are you doing this? We got to get you doing. We got to get you back in academia. And that's a very common attitude. People are very much against it because they think it's a lowly profession, and that they are too good to be associated with people who do that. It's hard to say, but it's frankly quite generally true amongst my colleagues.
Being a professor and a physicist and nuclear physics on top of that, you would think that they would look at it, but then again, they put themselves from the highest team on the shelf so high up that this is too good for them. It's not beneath their privilege to do this. But yet still, they could be in the same position you are, looking for a job 3 years from now, 4 years from now, and maybe end up possibly living back in their car.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, what happened to me could happen to anybody. And And the issue, of course, is they're all smart enough to understand the opportunity. And if you walk them through it, they'll even wrap their mind and say, yeah, I see it's possible. But still, they have these strong a priori beliefs and opinions and prejudices that prevent them from taking advantage of this particular, wonderful opportunity. So it's like it's a bit of an uphill battle. But fortunately, there are a lot of other people in the world I can go to rather than my colleagues. And as we have success, and as I continue to do well, because my purpose is science education. So what I'm doing is in the old days when I was going after grants to be able to teach teachers in India and Nepal and doing all the other things that I've been doing, the grants are sporadic and they always go away after a year or 3 years tops, and then you're always out having to raise more money. So what I'm doing is I'm not just only providing for my own financial freedom, I'm using this as the vehicle to enable me to go and fulfill my nonprofit mission without any headaches. And I think when my colleagues see the fact that now I am able to help more people than I've ever been able to help before, because I will have this steady stream of residual income, that may start to change some of their minds about the utility and the ethics, and the desirability of doing something like this. Rather than doing Kickstarter, I'm going out and I'm helping people and providing something that is sustainable so that I can go forth and do great things in the world without having to worry all the time about where the money's coming from.
That's wonderful. We got some callers. I can see the lines are just filling up right now, and we've got a few callers came on very late here. I have no idea why, but will you go back to the part of the history of your background again so people that got it can understand who you are? And folks, we got Mr. Sean Carlson from San Diego on the call here. I ran into him the other day at the international convention outside, and we had just a very stimulating conversation when I found out his background, and I was blown away by this. And I said, look, I got to end my call. So if you could regurgitate your background and who you are and years of degrees and all that stuff one more time for us, sir.
Sure. I went through 12 years of college. I got 2 bachelors, a master's, and a PhD. My PhD is in nuclear physics. And then I spent the next good part of my life doing education work and research. I became very well known as an innovator in the field of science education, and it was for my innovative work developing new ways of inspiring young people to love learning about science and technology that I won the highly coveted MacArthur Award, which is also known as the Genius Grant, which is a very prestigious honor. So I'm actually a certified genius, believe it or not. And so anyway, I did everything the right way. I was making a lot of money. I was married. I had kids. I was helping a lot of people. And then tragedy struck, and I wound up losing all of the money. And we didn't have the investments that my wife said we did, and we had to declare bankruptcy. That led to divorce. And the next thing I knew, I was 53 years old, living in the back of my car. That's my background. And when I discovered the ACN opportunity, the thing that really stood out to me was the fact that if I had discovered it a few years before that tragedy, I would have had residual income. I would have been able to make the transition just fine, and I never would have had to suffer as I did suffer, living in the back of my car.
Wow. Here you are, such a, I take this in a great light, not as something, a brainiac, a genius, with all the academic rewards and degrees, and did everything right, crossed the T's, dotted the I's, and got into physics and just done a great job. And that award you won is a very prestigious award. And all of a sudden things turned, and now here you are doing network marketing. And the point I'm trying to get across is to people out there listening, there's a lot of people that are okay today, but will not be okay tomorrow. That's why you and I, listeners, as you're out there listening, you've got to talk to people about the ACN opportunity. They may not be ready today, but they can be ready tomorrow. Or like our special guest speaker, Mr. Carlson, he goes from PhD to live in the back of his car and grow. So there's a lot of people that look good, smell good, that are not going to be where they're at in a year or two, but you got to stay out there and start talking to people, and then go up on the type of clientele people you're talking to. So, what are some of your goals, Mr. Carlson, with the ACN opportunity?
Well, I have lots of goals. I got to tell you, Dakota Bragg is my personal hero. I don't think I'm going to be able to duplicate what Dakota does, but I'm going to make a good run at it. I want to basically be totally liberated so that I never have to think again about where the money's coming from for me to live a comfortable lifestyle. I don't need a lot, but I wouldn't mind living a comfortable lifestyle. And I'm really passionate about community service. I'm very passionate about education. It is the center core of my entire life. That's what I'm really driven about. And I've got invitations to train teachers. I train teachers how to inspire kids to love learning about science and technology, so that my techniques that I've developed can be multiplied, can be used by the masses, and reach, hopefully millions of young people. The best way to do that is in person. And I've got invitations to go all around the world, to go to the far corners of the world. But the kids and the teachers who live in Nepal, and who live in India, and who live in Thailand, and who live in all these places, they can't afford to send me. So my goal is to liberate myself so that I can do all this work and change the world in a way that my talents are best suited to change the world, and not have to chase grants, and not have to waste a lot of time, doing all that work. I mean, I know that a lot of people think that this is kind of grubby work. To me, chasing grants is grubby work. And I'd much rather invest my time to create a steady source of income, and then be able to leverage that for the rest of my life, doing all the good things that I want to do.
No, thank you, sir. I would think chasing grant would be kind of dirty work. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. Chasing grants, because they're variable grant money, it's intense competition. And I hate to say it, people do significantly misrepresent sometimes exactly what they intend to do, or what they believe that they can do in their grants to try to get the grant, or they find it's going to apply to something that they know it's not going to apply. There's a lot of stuff like that takes place, and it's not all high-minded, honest, stuff. There's a lot of that takes place, and I don't want to be in that race anymore. I've done the grant chasing. It's very hard, very time-consuming. There are a lot of people who spend 50% of their time chasing the next grants, and that's just a huge time that I would like to release so that I can go out and meet kids, train teachers, and continue to discover new ways of inspiring young people to love learning about science and technology.
I think it's kind of funny myself. The more I think about it, they were in the chase and beg or ask people for money versus going involved with network marketing to make a sustainable residual income. They could grant their own grant, so they could fund their own grant if they really wanted to. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's true. And the issue, of course, is it's a matter of culture. It's a matter of expectations. It's a matter of worldview. That's their world. Grant chasing is the way their world is, okay? And they were never brought into other ways of thinking. And it's very hard to get, it doesn't matter how smart you are. After you've been inured in a system for a long enough period of time, it's very hard to get people to consider radically different approaches. I won the MacArthur Fellowship because I am somebody who thinks outside the box, all the time on everything. And so I have been able to see opportunities for, in all sorts of different areas that other people miss. And to me, this was an absolute no-brainer.
Wow. You're correct. So, a no-brainer. So tell everyone out there on our list going, how long have you been involved with ACN?
I've only been involved in ACN for a month.
Wow.
So not very long.
Yeah.
But I'm already, but believe me, I'm completely on board, and got my own organization going, and I'm working with great leadership here in the San Diego area, and we're building. We're doing great things.
How many customers and IDOs do you have in your team so far, sir?
I've got 7 IDOs, and probably 9 by the end of today. And customers, I've got 30 so far, so not huge numbers.
Right. Now, those 30 in the whole data line, those 30 personal points that you have?
Those are 30 personal points.
Personal points, right. See, I want people to hear that here's a gentleman that's been in less than a month, about a month, 30 personal points. And how many in his downline? 7 or 8 to 9, probably 9 IBOs in a month in his downline. Now, just think about what he just said. 30 customer points personally. And 7 right now, before the day's out, we'll probably have 9 IDOs in his downline in less than a month. Where did that go back to? Great leadership. But not only the leadership, but being coachable, and it's showing the plan. And anybody out of the sound of my voice, here's the man, in my opinion, in the midst of that type of the mid society, which is 1% of the 1% of the 1%ers, joined ACN, sees it, catches it, understands it, and running off with it already in a month's time. And now, why is that? Because he's got goals. He's got direction. He's got some things he wants to accomplish in his lifetime. 53 years old, finds himself in the back of cars because everything else is gone. So why don't we wait till our back's against the wall? When you folks listen to this testimony, every one of you need to go back and re-listen to today's call. And not only that, I'll have your downline re-listen to this call too, because we all think because we're in America, it won't happen to us. Here's this man had everything going for himself, highly educated, very smart, had funds coming in left and right from different charities, but different programs. And here he wound up in ACN, and the reason why is because his life changed. And people's life can change on a dime. And I'm just so thankful that he took time out to get on our call today to share with you, no matter who you are in life. We look at doctors and lawyers or doctors and whoever else we can fire. We put them on such a high pedestal. And I'm telling you, even they can fall. Here's a gentleman that's a physicist, nuclear physicist, have went as far as he could go, probably the highest you could go, couldn't go any higher. And wound up at ACN, and the reason why, because it makes total sense. So give us a few more words. We got a few more minutes left in closing, so give us a few words that you have to encourage people with out here that's listening in the audience.
Well, I mean, I don't want anyone to think, well, this guy did it because, he's particularly smart. He's got the genius for it. It's like, it has nothing to do with any of that. It's like I use nothing but street common sense and a knowledge of human behavior and how to inspire people to, basically leadership. I was an Eagle Scout when I grew up. I learned a lot about leadership when I was growing up. And that's basically all you need. You just need good person skills. You need to like people. You need to want to help people. You need to be coachable. You need to listen to the leadership around you. And the thing that really sold me about this opportunity more than anything else was when I met the incredible leadership that they have here in the San Diego area. I was really blown away by the quality of the mentors and the collegial atmosphere. It's much more of a nonprofit feel, where instead of most people think about the for-profit world as being cutthroat, everybody working against each other. That's not the experience at all here. Everybody's working together for each other's success. The business model was designed brilliantly by the founders to get everybody working together. And so it's really for me, it's a wonderful experience. And I'm so very, very sorry I didn't come across it 15, 20 years ago.
Well, timing is everything. It's everything. It was so funny. I was just talking to a young lady on the phone a few minutes ago, and she's going into the mortgage business. I just came out of that. Why would you want to go into that when you got headaches? But sometimes people have to go through things for them to find the reality of the truth. It's like telling your kid, don't touch the stove, it's hot, but they'll touch it anyway. And sometimes it's good for them to experience that. Now you can do something with them and work with them. But the blunt thing of this business is it crosses every educational boundary out there, every economic. We don't care if you've been Yale or in jail. It goes back to having a strong work ethic and then having an even track to run on. And if you notice what it is, they're having a great track to run on, where everybody's working together as a whole to do the entire business together. One of the things we talked about yesterday in a circle conference call was, the last conference of the year, why don't we all just wear no colors, come together as ACN, and become one, and like they do. So, I'm sorry about that. We got these Amway people on here, but the whole idea is come together as one. Here again, that's our model. That's who ACN is. We're all on the same ship, called the ACN ship, going the same direction, maybe different levels of the ship, but we're heading down the road to financial freedom to be able to do whatever it is you want to do. In his case, it's fund some project that's dear to his heart, and fundraising. So that's wonderful. So we all come together, but the blessing is, whatever it is for you and your family, ACN can offer that. But it's going to take some work. Remember this, the only place that success comes before work is in a dictionary. In a dictionary. But it's going to take work. Now, if you work your ACN business hard and you work that job that cares nothing about you, but an hour a day, the 2 hours a day in your own business, what do you think you'll be in 6 months or a year from today? But you got to put it in and get it out. You don't go to the fireplace and say, give me some heat, then I go get the wood. No, it doesn't work that way. You got to put it in to get it out. I'll say it again. You got to put it in to get it out. You've got to put it in. The work. To get ETT takes work. The ETL takes work. To get a 7 to 8 ideal took work. To get a 30 customer points can work. But the 30 points in 30 days, that's a customer a day, folks. So don't tell me it cannot be done. And now here he is, a physicist. His community of other scientists looked at him like he's a wacko because he's reached outside the norm for them because he saw an opportunity. But then again, that's the name of the game for him. Always stepping outside the box. And I just want to commend you, Mr. Carlson, for being the leader that you are, to showing the community that, yes, they do not live above residual income. Instead of chasing grants, you decided, I need to build me some original income. Because that's right. Grant money gets thin after a while, and then you got to play ball in politics and that as well. But here you said, look, enough's enough. So, sir, give us a few words in closing.
Well, I'm very grateful to you to give me the opportunity to come here and talk to everybody about my experience. I'm very grateful to have found ACN. I look forward to being a valuable member of Team Dynasty and of the ACN organization. I'm just really so glad I found this organization, and I'm really looking forward to where I am a year or 2 years from now when I get to taste that freedom and I get to go out and fulfill my destiny as an educator, training science teachers all over the world.
My friend, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your goals, your passion. I can feel your passion for the things and reason why you do it, ACN. And I tell people all the time, you got to have a passion. The passion got to be strong enough to make you cry. The passion's got to get you out the bed in the morning. The passion about what you really want, you got to dig in and just go for it. And people don't understand without a passion, as soon as a wave comes along, you're ready to give up your goal and not accomplish it. You need a passion. And I can hear your passion.
Thank you so much. Again, it's been such a thrill and such an honor to be here. So thanks very much, and I hope everybody in this call has a great day, and that it helps some people feel their focus and to go out and do great things.
Wow, Mr. Carlson, thank you so much for your time, sir. You just are amazing. We look forward to having you back on the call down the road a little bit later and see how things are working out for you with the ACN opportunity. But we know you're going to be great. This is only the beginning. It's your first 30 days in with 30 points and 7 IBOs, almost 9. And I want to commend you, sir. Keep up the good work and keep plowing through. And I guarantee you, before you know it, you'll have a few of those professors joining your team when those funds and those grants run out. Thank you so much. Hey, folks, you heard it live today. Go ahead, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks again for having me on.
You're welcome. Great honor. Thank you. Folks, you heard it live. I don't care where you are in life. I don't care if you're the guy that's out there working at the street sweeper. I don't care if you're the guy working through the drive-thru at the restaurant. Everybody's looking for residual income and extra income. And here's a gentleman of his caliber decided, hey, listen, I need something. And I need to get off this platform I'm on that's going nowhere fast and dig in at 53, finding yourself in a car. I've got to do something. I've got to be able to pull myself up. What's out there for a guy like me at my age? And you know what? He found it. So don't tell me. You know what? He's gone through the headaches. He's gone through the muck and mire. He's gone through his colleagues laugh at him. And you're getting upset because your mother, your father, your sister, your dog, your cat said something to you because you're doing their marketing? How do you think he had to go through as professional as he is as a... My God, guess what? They're thinking about him. So guess what? Get over it. All he did was fight, laugh at him, and got over it. So you, too, need to get over anybody saying anything about you. Remember, this is your future. Look, everybody's not going to be happy for you as you build your future. And they're not going to put food on your table, take care of your kids, put them in private school, pay for gas in your car, put food on your table. All you're looking for is a winners who catch it and want it and go to work with them. That's what this is about. Yeah, I get no's. I hired 2 no's yesterday. Do you think that bothered me? Next. That's the way to look at it. They'll still be working, and you won't be. But you got to put it in to get it out. Boy, I hope you guys got the call today. Take care, God bless, and as always, we'll see you at the top. Or we'll see you on the top. Have a blessed ACN day.